So, at first, this video was supposed to be a showcase of multiple different decks I have come up with for set 3 Unleashed, but I happened to cook up a Control Darius list that has been an absolute banger, and it has been so much fun in fact that I low-key just forgot to play my other decks. And you heard me right, it's a control deck that's actually so much fun. It resolves around summoning the new Undying Legion card and the Immortal Phoenix infinitely. So now you have 6 units in your deck that just generate you infinite board presence, and you can just focus on controlling the game with only spells. Also, Noxian Guillotine is actually an amazing control signature spell. Enjoy the video and try out the deck yourself. The list will be in the description. And we start by playing against Kha'Zix. And in general, orange seems to be a pretty good matchup for this deck. My starting hand was actually very good because I'm going first, and because we have Sundisk, which is arguably even more important than the Phoenixes and Undying Legions or anything like that. The Sundisk is so broken. They force me to discard one card, which doesn't really matter. My deck kind of counters the discard strategy, because by the time I get even one Phoenix or Undying in my trash, then I have infinite units, and because they are played from my trash, it doesn't matter what they discard from my hand, you know? Because my units come from my trash. I just play down Kai'Sa after taking 1 point, hide the Pyke there, so this keeps my enemy guessing. They still go for the attack, which is actually very weird, and I just win the combat. So I don't know why they would attack there into my Pyke. It did force me to, unfortunately, recycle 1 rune, so I'm a little down bad in runes. And believe it or not, this Honest Broker was an absolutely amazing find, because now I can play the Honest Broker down, I can play the Call the Weak down, and I will get a gold token. So I don't mind it, Even got a draw from the Kai'Sa Conger. They just play stack deck another Kha'Zix, and I just play down my Darius and nothing else. I'm at 4 points, so there's no reason for me to sacrifice a unit to conquer the left battlefield to get to 5 points. I don't think it really matters. They do discard my Noxian Guillotine again, but we've been a little unlucky. We haven't found any of the key units of this deck. If we had one Phoenix or Undying Legion, then we don't really care about them discarding our cards. They play the Kha'Zix signature spell, killing my Kai'Sa and getting another point. And the Kha'Zix signature spell is actually pretty strong. It's pretty strong. They pull back the Kha'Zix, so I can get to 6 points basically free here. Unfortunately, I can't conquer with the Darius because I don't have 2 cards in my hand to, double move with the Darius, and if I give them a combat win, they're just gonna get more EXP. So I'm just waiting here. They discard my Honest Broker, which is a little funny. I find a Hidden Blade, and I use it on my own Pyke after conquering with the Darius to find a Soaring Scout, and there's no reason to play the Call the Weak. They have so many units on board that they can just protect their Kha'Zixes, and we actually lose the first game because I just never really ended up finding the only counter to the discard deck, which are any of the 6 units I actually need, which was a little unfortunate. So not a good start, but this deck is now 11-1 in matches, so 11 wins, 1 loss, so we'll get there, you'll see. Now this hand already looks way better. Have the Immortal Phoenix in hand, had a 2-drop, and they also have a Merchant. It doesn't really matter. I conquer, I play down Kai'Sa, and with the Immortal Phoenix, I don't care about them discarding my cards anymore. This time they don't even play the discard card, so finally when I do have the counter, they won't even let me have it, I also forgot to add any yellow runes into this deck, so it's a little hard to use my Hidden Blade. I conquer with the Kai'Sa to get a draw. I find a Sundisk, which I can then play. I can then ready my Phoenix, and I can then attack into the Merchant. If they had Punch First there, I wouldn't have minded it because they would have de-ramped by 2, so it would have probably been worth it for me if they used Punch First. And this game is looking like an absolute stomp right now. I'm at 5 points, I can just play Darius, Noxus Hopeful, Seal, and pass. Now I can start controlling the game actually. I don't have to be proactive because I can react to what my opponent does because I'm ahead in points, so they have to try and stop me. They play a Yi down and conquer both battlefields. I then go ahead and attack with the Darius to bait out any spells. They do have to punch first, so I just hidden blade the Yi. I play Vi to then ready my Darius again, move it back, and it's looking pretty GG because I don't think there's really anything they can do. Yeah, and once again I do have Call the Weak, but I don't have any yellow runes in this deck. What was I doing, man? What was I doing? And they then do play the discard unit again, so I discard the Call the Weak because I'm a little afraid that I won't find any yellow runes. I now find the yellow runes, but I don't even need to Call the Weak. I just Piercing Light their 2 units and we go next. So I still haven't even gotten to actually play the control game with this deck. These first 2 games were a little weird. The first game I didn't really find any of the pieces I want with this deck. Second game I just got such an aggressive start that I almost played like a aggro Darius there. Now I'm coming second, I find a bird. They once again start discarding my hand, so let's hope I find a Undying Legion or Phoenix. I still haven't seen a single Undying Legion game. I conquer with the bird, I play Kaisa and Noxus Hopeful down. So at least my start has been very strong. I get to use the Ravenbloom. I get to use the Ravenbloom Conservatory when they attack, so I have to put a Noxus Hopeful to the bottom of my deck, and after they play Kha'Zix, I just Piercing Light them both. I'm so done with this discarding unit that I just Piercing Light them both. I get a double conquer, I get a Kaisa draw, I have 2 Falling Stars in hand, and I have a Sun Disc, so it's looking pretty rough for the opponent. I don't even need my Phoenixes or Undying Legions. I'm just gonna win the game by only using set 1 cards anyways. I get to 5 points, I play down the Honest Broker, I Falling Star their second Kha'Zix, and I just play down the Darius. Now they play down 2 Yis, which is annoying because they're gonna get a ton of XP from those Yis. But at least I can double move with the Darius, conquer, pull it back, play Falling Star on one of the Yis. I still have the Sun Disc, so I'm not too worried. They do play the Kha'Zix signature, which does kill my Darius, and that's pretty rough. And they play another Kha'Zix signature onto my Kaisa, which does suck because I was kind of counting on the Kaisa draw here, but I do find the Undying Legion now, which is pretty good. I just play down everything and pass, and now they have to stop my little bird from holding, because my little bird would end the game if it held. So now they have to play the Nidalee, and I get the Ravenbloom Conservatory trigger, which was very important. That was like a big part of my plan, but I forgot about it. I'm sorry. It's fine, it would have been the Phoenix anyways, so if I did use the Ravenbloom, then I would have had to, get rid of the Phoenix. Now the good thing here is that when I conquer the left battlefield, I get to draw a card because I'm at 7 points. Now I play down the Phoenix, I tap my Sun Disc, and I play down the Vi. The Vi gets very big, and the Vi gets Fight or Flighted. I'm so glad Fight or Flight is banned, guys. Non-purple players rejoice. If Fight or Flight didn't exist, my Vi would have won the game there. But unfortunately, when I played this game, Fight or Flight was still unbanned. They kill off my Undying Legion, they gank with the Master Yi. I just attack everything to the right. Now I get to use the Sunken Temple from my Phoenix, and I just get an insane amount of draw. I play a Seal down, I Noxian Guillotine the Yi, and I win the game by summoning the Phoenix back from the Noxian Guillotine and ending the game there with the Sun Disc acceleration. But those games were a little awkward, so now you're probably thinking that this deck doesn't look that strong, right? Well, think again, because now I went against the mighty and scary Ivern. They play a cat, I play my Undying Legion, and the amazing thing about Undying Legion is that it costs 0 power to play it initially, so it's just a good 3-drop overall, which is pretty good. They play a dog and a Poro. Unfortunately, I just Falling Star the cat and the Poro, trade with the dog, play a Kaisa down. They play Ivern, and I find a Cold a Week from my Kai'Sa Conquer. I accelerate my Honest Broker with the Sun Disc to then play the Cold a Week on my Honest Broker, and my opponent rage quit. Okay, maybe that wasn't such a good example then, okay? Hey, oh man, poor Ivern. Got falling start, Cold a Week, and insta rage quit. That is a little unfortunate. To say the least. So now I'm playing against Leona, and it's a green deck, so it's supposed to be like my biggest counter, you know, because I'm a, spell heavy deck against green. But let's see how it goes. I'm going first. I have a good start finding the Honest Broker. They played their own Honest Broker. I play Seal, so I can then accelerate my Kai'Sa using my legend. I get to draw 2 because there's the Seat of Power, so I get to draw from the Kai'Sa Conquer and the Seat of Power Conquer. They buff their Honest Broker to conquer the right battlefield, but at least my Kai'Sa is still alive, so I'm just kidding. It got a Zenith bladed. My Kai'Sa was still alive, but it's fine. I can now play Seal and just attack with Darius, and this game is looking like an absolute stomp. I have the Phoenix, I have the Undying Legion, and there's really much they can do because they don't have any units in their base. So my Darius gets to live and, do some double conquer shenanigans, get me to 5 points. I draw Darius back, I play the Undying Legion, I then play the Noxian Guillotine on their Stellar Corn Herder. Now this readies my Darius, I get to 5 points. They play their Leona, which comes in readied obviously, but for some reason they don't attack. Now I conquer the Seat of Power, find Cold a Week, and we go next. My Noxian Guillotine could have been defied on the Stellar Corn Herder. That would have been a little bad and would have slowed me down a lot. So I was kind of lucky there that my Noxian Guillotine didn't get defied. But in game 2, I'm going second. I can just play down the Undying Legion. And the good thing about the Undying Legion is that it doesn't cost power. So it's just a good going second unit in general. They conquer with the Scuttle Grab, play a BF Sword down, and don't equip it. So I can just freely kill the grab, get a point, play down Seal, and then play down Darius and go to 2 points already. And Leona obviously doesn't have much acceleration, so I am pretty sure that I'm gonna get to 4 points here, which is huge. They play down the Stellar Corn, I draw my units back after getting 2 points. I play Cold a Week, it goes through. Now I can just play the Undying Legion from my trash whenever I want to. But because I have so many spells in hand, I want to make sure I also have a Phoenix because, gotta be greedy. They play down an Azir, which is very, very slow. I move Darius in, I move Phoenix in, get to 6 points. I play Cold a Week with my last yellow rune, and this allows me to now take back the Phoenix because I killed the Phoenix. Phoenix goes to trash, and because I have killed a unit with spell, I can just replay the Phoenix instant. So Phoenix is insane with Cold a Week. Then I just play Falling Star instantly on the Azir, and I also play out the Undying Legion. So this is what the deck is supposed to do. You Cold a Week your Phoenixes, maybe Hidden Blade your own Phoenix to play back, playing Undying Legion back from your trash. Now the only thing you need are spells in your hand because you already have all the units you would ever want. They have 0 units on board, I have Noxian Guillotine in my hand. Unfortunately, I don't have yellow runes to play the Hidden Blade. Don't worry, I have now fixed the rune problem with this deck. I don't know what I was thinking with the rune distribution when I made this initially. But I conquer, I play the Soaring Scout, I play Noxian Guillotine, they use Therox Cage, and they lose. And unfortunately, they literally had almost nothing they could have done in that game. And in that game, I got the game plan rolling where I can just replay my units finally over and over again. But that was still the outdated list. Now I'm playing against LeBlanc, and you can instantly see that I have added a Rek'Sai, because Rek'Sai kind of also works as a Sun Disc in itself. And the more I played with this deck, the better I realized Sundisk actually is, and the more important Sundisk is. So rather than having 3 Sundisks, why not just run a couple of Rek'Sais and a couple of Sundisks? Because running 3 gears does feel a little bad sometimes, because what if you draw three Sundisks, you know? I conquer with the Rek'Sai, I play down the Phoenix, I also have the Undying Legion in hand, so this is gonna be a very, very aggressive game. And mind you, I'm against LeBlanc that copies their unit, which normally would probably be the hardest matchup for any spell decks, because you're playing against a deck that, you know, copies units over and over again, and then your spells lose value. But the biggest problem of LeBlanc against my deck is that I kill their most important units with my spells, so they never get to copy the important unit. The only things they copy are maybe the Watchful Sentries or the Soaring Scouts. I just have to make sure that they can't copy anything better, so I instantly Falling Star their LeBlanc, their Soaring Scout, I attack to the right battlefield. Now if they want to use Hidden Blade on my Phoenix, I don't mind, because that's probably one of the worst units you can Hidden Blade. So I conquer the right battlefield too, and you can instantly see the LeBlanc suffers insanely if their early units are wiped off the game. They just have to play down a Glass Mixologist. I get to 4 points by holding. I put everything to the left, and then once again play the Shadow's Call on my Phoenix. So now I draw 2, I play a Noxus Hopeful and another Phoenix in my home base, and I even hide the Hidden Blade to the right. Now this is very annoying for my opponent, because they know that my Phoenix has the temporary from my Shadow's Call, so it's very annoying to use resources on my Phoenix. And if they do attack into my Phoenix, I have the Hidden Blade, and they know that I'm not gonna let them copy the Mixologist, so they copy it in base instead. They play the LeBlanc signature, they attack with the Mixologist, they copy the Mixologist, and they have discarded a Karthus, so now they have a Karthus in trash, so when their Mixologist dies, they can take Karthus back, and you know that they'll finally get their deck rolling. But it's too late, it's just simply too late. I hold to 6, I can pull everything back, and after looking at their trash, I realize even if they do get to use their Mixologist Death Knells, they're not even getting that much might on the board. Because mind you, I have Rek'Sais, so I can just, you know, attack with Phoenix Undying, use a killing spell, resummon Phoenix Undying, accelerate them with the Rek'Sai, attack again. So the Mixologist, very cool, very funny, but they're pretty weak, because the best units they can summon are like 1 to 2 might units from their trash. So they start proccing their Mixologist, they play an Atakan, and you know the game is just over, because now I can attack with the Phoenix, clear a couple of units, use Call the Weak, because I don't really care what dies and what doesn't. Now I replay 2 Phoenixes. I can now accelerate both of the Phoenixes with my Rek'Sai, attack with both Phoenixes to the right battlefield, play Piercing Light, and the game wasn't even close. It's just very, very strong if you get to the point where you have found your Phoenixes, you have a way to accelerate them, and you can just attack with Phoenix, play a killing spell, resummon Phoenixes, attack with again, and that's like suddenly your 2 Phoenixes are like 20 might in total, on top of playing a killing spell which gets rid of one of their units. So it's very, very strong. We go to game 2 against LeBlanc, and I also have the biggest counter of LeBlanc in my side deck, which is Smite. Smite makes it so when I kill a unit with the spell, it banishes the said unit, so the opponent doesn't get it in their trash, and they also don't get the Death Knell effect from the Smite. So they miss their 2-drop, which is insane. In a LeBlanc deck, I find my Honest Broker, they play their LeBlanc, I conquer with my Honest Broker to find a Kai'Sa, which is insane. But I have to make sure that I have 2 energy up when my opponent attacks with their LeBlanc. Like I said in the last game, I have to make sure that they can't copy their best units with their LeBlanc Legend. So I play the Seal down, and then I play the Kai'Sa, because now I can proc my Darius Legend. This leaves me with 2 energy up on their turn, 1, and if they attack, I get to use the seal on the smite. And now their LeBlanc is gone. They didn't get the death knell, they didn't even get the LeBlanc into their trash, and if the game is basically instantly over. They just play little units in their base, I hold, I conquer with the Kha'Zix, I get to draw, I also found a Phoenix, I play Phoenix into Noxian Hopeful, and I still have the smite, so anything they can do, I can just smite it if I have to. They attack my Kha'Zix, I smite their Poro, they don't get the draw from it, their Watchful Sentry dies, they just play a Mixologist on their base, I get to hold to 5. I play Darius down with the Hopeful because I have realized their deck doesn't really have any acceleration. They don't really have any interactions either outside of Hidden Blades. So why don't I just make it very awkward for them, holding both battlefields, and Mixologist can't conquer once again. So now they have to use something if they want to copy their Mixologist with their LeBlanc legend by conquering. They use LeBlanc's signature, attack with the Mixologist, attack with the second Mixologist, then copy the Mixologist, play an Atakan to kill their own Mixologist and play Kha'Zix. Now, they want to hold the right battlefield, so then they can copy the Atakan, and because Atakan has ganking, then they could start, controlling both battlefields at the same time. So the only thing I need to do is I just need to kill the Atakan. So I Piercing Light, I pull my Darius back, I play Piercing Light, I play the bird, I attack the Atakan is gone, and I pull my units back. Now the only thing they can do is once again copy the Mixologist, they conquer the other battlefield to go to 3, and now they're forced to hold, which is very bad for them because they don't have a lot of acceleration, their Atakan is gone, it's their only ganking unit, so now I can just look to hold the battlefield where there's less units. I find the Undying Legion, but I want to play it straight to the battlefield that I hold, so I discard the Undying Legion, I find a Phoenix, I can now play the Phoenix and play the Undying Legion from my trash. So this deck is very good with discarding, and that's why I have Zone in this deck, because you don't mind putting your units into the trash when you can just replay them later on. And they didn't have a way to break through my hold. They were 1 rune off from Ruination, which would have got me off guard for sure, but then again I could have just replayed Phoenix and Undying Legion again. So this deck also counters opponents' control stuff, because yeah, they get their death knell from their Mixologist after Ruination to play, small units back, but I can also play my units back. It's pretty cool. Then I played a best of 3 against a control Pyke. Now I have played against the discard Pyke previously, and it was a fairly easy matchup for this deck, but the control Pyke was surprisingly tough because they literally had the same game plan as I did. So let's see how it goes. I play the Scout, they play Pyke, I conquer with the Scout, I play Sundisk down, tap the Sundisk and conquer with the Undying Legion. Now I have Sundisk on board, I have 2 Undying Legions, and I have Phoenix, which is an insane edge in a control matchup, because I'm the one with the endless amount of units right now. They recall their Pyke with their legend and play a Noxious Hopeful. I play Call the Weak, tap Sundisk, play my second Undying Legion, and now I get to even use the battlefield to generate a gold. And this is why I love Undying Legion. It doesn't cost any power to play, so it just feels good. And you don't mind if it dies, because now my opponent accelerated a Pyke, and my Undying Legion died, but I don't really mind, I don't really care, because I can just play it back later on. I find a Rek'Sai, tap Sundisk, accelerate my Phoenix, once again generate a gold with the battlefield, and the gold battlefield has been carrying me by a ton. I think it has generated like 3 or 2 gold, which is huge. They do deal with my Phoenix again, but it's just gonna come back in the future. I accelerate Kha'Zix to get a point, then I conquer with the Rek'Sai to once again generate another gold. So oh man, this gold battlefield has felt so good with this deck. Now I have the Void Seeker for their Noxious Hopeful, but they ride the wind, their Noxious Hopeful back, so I don't deal the 4 damage with the Void Seeker. I still get the draw, which is nice, but they do kill my Rek'Sai, which is a little sad. I do have the Sandisk still, so it's not that big of a deal. They accelerate the Pyke to trade with my Kai'Sa and finally play their own Phoenix, but I haven't even seen many like spells from them outside of, you know, the Ride the Wind and one of those purple stuff. I just play down my Seal, Darius, Piercing Light, and my Sandisk readies my Phoenix, and I conquer both battlefields. And that was just crazy, think about it. On the last turn, where I played Seal, Darius, Sandisk, Piercing Light, Phoenix, I accelerated 12 might from an empty board and did 8 damage with Piercing Light. So that was 20 damage and 2 accelerated units out of thin air. So there, you know, there's something here, We're cooking. Then we have Zone, and I like Zone because, you know, my Phoenixes and my Undying Legions don't care about getting discarded because I can play them from my trash. I play Honest Broker, they play Stack Deck into Noxus Hopeful. I then just play down Kai'Sa. Now I conquer with Honest Broker, and because I had played Kai'Sa, I can now use my Darius Legend to pay for the gold, because my opponent is now playing the gold battlefield. And it's very important that you play a unit first, because playing the gold wouldn't count towards Legion, because it's a token. So it's very important that you first play the card that you want to play. This allows you to tap your Darius Legend with the Legion. So you have to do it in this order. You can't first summon the gold and then tap your Darius Legion, because Legion doesn't work from tokens being played. They killed my Honest Broker, pulled back their Noxus Hopeful with their Legend, and Falling Starred my Kai'Sa. Now they de-ramped by a ton, so I just play down Seal into Darius into Noxus Hopeful, and once again the gold tokens have been insanely nice in this game. I did find the 2 seals, but the gold battlefield is the MVP with the control deck for sure. They accelerate their Pyke to conquer the zone, play a Noxus Hopeful, and I find a Kai'Sa. And this deck is very expensive because it has 3 Kai'Sas, and you can see why, because Kai'Sa is pretty good. It's pretty good. I get to draw from Kai'Sa, I get to discard and draw from zone, and I play down my Rek'Sai. Now, this is also one of the strengths of this deck over, for example, the Pyke control deck, the Salvage. Now I can save my Salvage or their Sandisk, and I have a Rek'Sai on board, and if I find my own Sandisk, I just instantly win this matchup 100%. I have the Phoenix, I have the Rek'Sai, they do play their Sandisk, I even found my own Sandisk, I kill their Sandisk, and the game is over. The Sandisk and the acceleration is just so important in this matchup, and that's why yellow has the edge in this matchup for sure. I get to 6 points here, double conquering, moving back my Darius, playing down Phoenix, playing Shadow's Call on my Rek'Sai because I know my Rek'Sai is dying anyways, playing down second Phoenix, they play Darius, they Falling Star my Phoenixes, they kill my Rek'Sai off, and play a Noxus Hopeful. Now, normally I would be in trouble here, but my Phoenixes are gonna come back anyways, so I'm chilling. I play Sandisk, I tap Sandisk, Falling Star their Darius, get my Phoenixes back and win the game because my Phoenix can solo their Noxus Hopeful, and that's just how insane acceleration is in especially this matchup. And I have the Salvage against their Sandisk, so I just have a huge edge in this matchup. The Pyke does have Death from Below, which is a very good control spell, but also Darius does have Noxian Guillotine, which is almost equally as good. Death from Below is better, but I do like Darius Legend ability more than Pyke Legend ability. And those were some of the games with this deck. I lost the footage from, I would say, almost my best game the deck. Unfortunate. Where I actually played to like turn 10, got to replay my units over and over and over again, and played this dragged out game. And that's where this deck shines the most. But as you saw in these games, this deck can also be very, very aggressive. So it both wins in a dragged out long game, and it wins in aggression against most decks. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I probably didn't play those games perfectly. The deck isn't even optimized yet. So let me know what you think. And do you see the vision? Because, the control Darius has felt pretty strong, and it's 11-1. Try it out yourself. I love you guys. See you in the next video. Maybe even hop in one of my streams. And maybe I'll even see some of you guys in the France regional tournament.